a desperate mother, a terrified child, and the dangerous man who decided they belonged to him. Let me know where you're watching from. The warehouse district of Red Hook was eerily quiet at 11 p.m. Too quiet for Marco Santoro's liking. He'd learned to distrust silence. It usually meant someone was holding their breath, waiting for something to happen. With practiced ease, he walked the perimeter of his largest warehouse, his boots making no sound on the concrete, his dark eyes scanning the shadows. During the day, this building housed legitimate imports, but at night it stored other things the customs agents didn't need to know about. Everything clear? Luca Romano asked, falling into step beside him, his hand resting casually on the gun beneath his jacket. Too clear. Marco stopped at the corner of the building. You feel that? Feel what? Someone's here. Luca's hand tightened on his weapon. 20 years of working together had taught him not to question Marco's instincts. Where? Back entrance. Stay behind me. They moved silently around the building. The rear loading dock was completely shrouded in darkness. The single security light had been shot out 3 nights ago. Marco made a mental note to have it replaced again. Then he heard it, a sound that didn't belong. Soft, broken, the kind of crying someone does when they're trying desperately not to make noise. He raised his hand, stopping Luca. He listened more intently. There, behind the dumpster, someone was hiding. Marco drew his weapon and approached slowly. Come out now. The crying stopped. Silence. I said, come out. I know you're there. Please. A woman's voice, terrified. Please, we're leaving. We didn't take anything. We just needed somewhere. Show yourself. Movement. A figure emerged from behind the dumpster, backlit by distant streetlights. A woman holding someone against her chest. Marco's grip on his gun relaxed slightly. Step into the light. She limped forward, and Marco's jaw tightened. Even in the darkness, he could see she was hurt. Her face was swollen on one side, clothes torn, arms wrapped protectively around a child, a boy, maybe 7 or 8 years old, clinging to his mother like she was the only solid thing in a world that had just shattered. Madre Dio, Luca breathed behind him. Marco holstered his weapon immediately. Who did this to you? The woman flinched at his voice. No one. We're fine. We're leaving. You can barely stand. I can manage. She tried to take a step and stumbled. The boy whimpered, clutching tighter. Marco moved forward instinctively. Don't come closer, she said, backing up, nearly falling. Please, we don't want trouble. We'll go. I promise we'll go. Sonora. Marco stopped, keeping his distance, hands visible. I'm not going to hurt you. Everyone says that. Fair point. Marco studied her carefully. Mid to late 20s, dark hair matted with blood on one side, eyes that had seen too much. Protective stance, even though she was injured. Fighter, not a victim. And the boy, thin, dark-haired, face pressed into his mother's shoulder, one arm hanging at an odd angle. Something cold and furious settled in Marco's chest. How old is he? His voice came out softer than intended. The woman's eyes narrowed. Why? Because his arm is hurt, and you can't protect him if you pass out from blood loss. I'm not. You have a head wound. You're favoring your left side. Your right ankle can't hold weight. Marco gestured to Luca. My associate here is going to call a doctor. A real one. Discreet. He'll look at both of you. We don't need. Yes, you do. Marco crouched slowly, making himself smaller, less threatening. Look, I don't know who you're running from. Don't care. But you stumbled onto my property, which means you're my responsibility now. Under my roof, under my protection. Old rule. I don't break it. The woman stared at him, weighing her options, probably wondering if the devil she knew was worse than the devil in front of her. The boy shifted and whimpered again. That decided it. One night, she said finally. Then we leave. One night. Marco agreed, knowing it was a lie. The second he saw that kid's face, he knew they weren't leaving. Not until he fixed whatever had broken them. Luca, get the car and call Dr. Ritchie. Tell him it's urgent. Luca hesitated. Boss, we don't know who they are. Could be. Marco cut him off. Look at them. Marco's voice was steel wrapped in velvet. Do they look like a threat? They could be bait. Rivals could have. No rival would hurt a child like that to get to me. And if they would, they're about to learn why that was a mistake. He looked at Luca. The car now. Luca left, phone already to his ear. Marco turned back to the woman and child. He moved slowly, telegraphing every motion. When he got close enough, he could see the full extent of the damage. Her eye was swelling shut. Blood matted her hair above her left ear. The boy's arm was definitely injured, possibly broken. What's his name? Marco asked gently. The woman hesitated. Noah. Noah. Marco crouched to the boy's eye level, though Noah kept his face hidden. Hey Noah. I'm Marco. Your mom's really brave, you know that? But she's hurt and I think your arm hurts too. I have a friend who's a doctor. He's really good. He'll help. Is that okay? No response, just trembling. It's okay if you don't want to talk. That's fine. But we need to get you somewhere warm. Somewhere safe. Can you let me help? The boy turned his head slightly, one eye visible, red from crying, looking at Marco like he was trying to decide if this was another trap. Marco held his gaze, steady, patient. The kid had been through hell. He could take his time deciding. Finally, barely audible, Noah whispered, Okay, good man. Marco stood slowly. Can you walk? He asked. The mother. She took a step, gasped, and nearly collapsed. Marco caught her automatically, careful not to jostle Noah. That's what I thought. Luca's bringing the car around. Can you make it that far if I help? She wanted to refuse. He could see it in her eyes, pride fighting necessity. But Noah was hurt, and she was fading fast. Yes, she whispered. The SUV pulled up, black and unremarkable. Luca opened the back door. Marco helped the woman inside, Noah still clinging to her. The boy's eyes darted to every shadow, every movement, hypervigilant, looking for the next threat. Marco knew that look. He'd worn it himself once. Where are we going? The woman asked as they pulled away from the warehouse. Safe House, Williamsburg. Dr. Ritchie will meet us there. Why are you doing this? Marco glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Because 29 years ago, my father was shot on a street corner. I was 10. I remember being scared of every man who looked at my mother, every knock on the door, every car that slowed down. He met her eyes in the mirror. Your son has that same look, and I'm not letting another kid go through that if I can help it. She didn't respond, just held Noah tighter. The safe house was a fourth-floor walk-up, nondescript building, neighbors who minded their own business. Marco had 6 of these scattered across Brooklyn, places to hide, to heal, to disappear if necessary. Dr. Ritchie was already waiting, medical bag in hand, 60 years old, steady hands, and a healthy respect for patient confidentiality that Marco had cultivated over many years. Upstairs, Marco said quietly. He carried Noah this time. The boy was too exhausted to protest, the mother too hurt to object. The apartment was simple, clean furniture that no one would miss. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, kitchen stocked with non-perishables, everything someone on the run might need. Dr. Ritchie got to work immediately. The boy first. No. The woman's voice was firm despite her injuries. Check him. Make sure he's okay. Then me. Sonora, you have a head wound. Him first. Dr. Ritchie looked at Marco, who nodded. The kid first. They took Noah into the bedroom. He cried when the doctor touched his arm, bit his lip bloody, trying not to scream. His mother sat beside him, holding his good hand, whispering things Marco couldn't hear. Marco stood in the doorway watching. Luca had positioned himself by the front door on guard. Badly bruised, not broken, Dr. Ritchie announced finally. But it needs to be immobilized. He'll need to wear a brace for a few weeks. Fine. The woman's relief was palpable. Whatever he needs. The doctor applied the brace carefully. Noah had stopped crying, but his eyes were glassy. Shock, probably, or exhaustion, maybe both. Can you give him something? Marco asked. For the pain, to help him sleep. A mild sedative. He'll rest easier. Within 15 minutes, Noah was asleep, curled up on the bed. His mother sat beside him, hand on his chest, feeling him breathe. Now you, Marco said quietly. She didn't argue this time. She let the doctor lead her to the living room, check her injuries. Cracked ribs, sprained ankle, concussion, multiple contusions, the inventory of violence. Marco stepped out onto the small balcony, needing air. Luca joined him. What are we doing, boss? Helping them. And then we find whoever did this. She hasn't told us anything. She will. Marco lit a cigarette, hands steady despite the rage simmering under his skin. When she's ready, when she trusts us. Until then, they stay here. They heal, and we make sure no one gets close to them. This could be complicated. Everything I do is complicated. Marco exhaled smoke into the night air. But that kid in there, he's 7 years old, and he looks like he survived a war. I'm not walking away from that. You're not responsible for every broken thing that crosses your path. No, but I'm responsible for what happens on my property. She was behind my warehouse. That makes her mine. And the boy. Marco's jaw tightened. Him too. Inside, Dr. Ritchie was packing his bag. She needs rest. Lots of it. The concussion is moderate. No blood thinners, no alcohol. Wake her every few hours to check responsiveness. I've left pain medication, antibiotics for the cuts. The ribs will hurt for weeks, but they'll heal. Thank you. Document Marco. The old man paused at the door. Who did this? I don't know yet. When you find out. Marco's smile was cold. You don't want to know. After the doctor left, Marco found the woman still on the couch, staring at nothing. She changed into clean clothes he'd had Luca bring. Simple sweats, t-shirt. The blood was washed from her hair, revealing the true extent of her injuries. There's food in the kitchen, Marco said. Clothes in the closet, bathroom stocked. You need anything? My number's on the counter. Why are you doing this? She looked up at him, eyes hollow. What do you want right now? Nothing. Tomorrow, maybe some answers, but tonight you and your son sleep somewhere safe. That's it. I don't even know your name. Marco Santoro. Recognition flickered. She knew the name. Most people in Brooklyn did. Yeah, I am. He didn't apologize for what he was. Does that change things? I don't know. Her voice cracked. I don't know anything anymore. What's your name? She hesitated, then, Sloan. Sloan Carter. Sloan. He tested the name. That's your boy in there? My son? Yes. He's going to be okay. You both are. How can you possibly know that? Because I decided. Marco moved toward the door. Get some rest. I'll be back in the morning. Marco. She stopped him. Thank you. I know I shouldn't trust you. I know what you are. But thank you. He nodded once and left, locking the door behind him with the spare key. In the hallway, Luca was waiting. What now? Now we find out who put their hands on a woman and a 7-year-old boy. And we teach them why that was the last mistake they'll ever make. Marco didn't sleep that night. He went back to his office and pulled up every resource he had. By dawn, he knew the basics. Sloan Carter, 29, junior architect, divorced 8 months ago. Ex-husband, Detective James Reed, NYPD, decorated, respected. Merida, Luca muttered, reading over his shoulder. Yeah. Marco's jaw was tight. A cop. That's complicated. Protected is what it is. Everyone loves Detective Reed. War hero, community involvement. Nobody would believe he beat his wife and son. Luca finished grimly. Marco stared at the photo on the screen. James Reed, 42, broad-shouldered, all-American smile, the kind of man who coached Little League and volunteered at the soup kitchen. The perfect disguise for a monster. She ran, Marco said quietly. Changed her name, moved 3 times in 8 months. He found her anyway. And when he did, what are you going to do? What I always do, fix it. He's a cop, Marco. You can't just... Watch me. Morning came, but Marco had been awake for hours. He'd gotten the call at 4 a.m. from Luca, who'd been monitoring the safe house remotely. Kids screaming. Been going for 10 minutes. Thought you should know. Marco had driven across Brooklyn in record time and let himself in quietly. He found Sloane in Noah's room, holding him while he thrashed and cried, still asleep. It's okay, baby. You're safe. Mom's here. But Noah kept fighting invisible demons, whimpering words that made Marco's blood run cold. Don't hurt her. Please don't hurt her. I'll be good. I promise I'll be good. Marco stayed in the doorway watching. Sloane finally managed to wake him. Noah's eyes opened, wild and terrified, not recognizing where he was. Where is he? Where's Dad? He's not here. You're safe. We're in the apartment, remember? Marco's apartment. Noah's breathing was ragged, face flushed. He looked around frantically and saw Marco in the doorway. Is he here? Is Dad here? Marco crouched down, making himself smaller. No, Noah, he's not here and he's not coming. Promise. You don't know that. He always finds us. Not this time. Marco's voice was gentle but absolute. I won't let him. Noah stared at him with those two old eyes. You can't stop him. Nobody can. Watch me. Something in Marco's tone must have reached him because Noah's shoulders sagged. The fight drained out of him, leaving just a scared little boy who'd seen too much. I'm sorry, Noah whispered. I didn't mean to wake everyone up. You didn't do anything wrong, Sloane said firmly. Nightmares aren't your fault. But I'm 7. I'm too old to. You're never too old to be scared, Marco interrupted. I still have nightmares sometimes. Noah looked at him skeptically. You do? Yeah. About my dad. About the night he died. I was 10. I'm 39 now. Still dream about it. Really? Really? Being scared doesn't make you weak, kid. It makes you human. Noah processed this. What do you do when you have nightmares? Marco thought about it. I remind myself where I am, that I'm safe, that the people I love are safe. Sometimes I get up, walk around, make sure all the doors are locked. Does it help? Yeah, most of the time. Noah was quiet for a moment. Then, Can you check the doors, please? Sure. Marco stood. You want to come with me? Small nod. They walked through the apartment together, Marco showing Noah each lock, each window, explaining how the security system worked. Sloane followed, watching this dangerous man teach her son how to feel safe. See this? Marco pointed to the sensor on the door. If anyone tries to open this without the code, alarm goes off. Luca gets notified. Police get called. Nobody gets in without us knowing. What about the windows? Same thing. All of them are 4 floors up, but even if someone tried to climb, which they won't, sensors would catch it. Noah tested one of the locks himself. Solid, heavy. Okay. Yeah, I believe you. They ended up in the kitchen. Marco made hot chocolate, real hot chocolate, not the instant kind, melting actual chocolate into milk, adding a tiny bit of cinnamon like his Nonna used to do. Noah cradled the mug in both hands, sipping carefully. This is really good. Family recipe. Your family makes hot chocolate? Mine. Nonna. She says it's the best cure for bad dreams. Is it? Only one way to find out. They sat in comfortable silence, drinking chocolate while dawn broke outside. Sloane had gone back to bed, trusting Marco with her son. That trust felt heavier than any responsibility Marco had ever carried. Marco? Noah's voice was small. Do you think I'm broken? The question hit like a fist. What? Because of Dad? Because I'm scared all the time? Because I have nightmares? Do you think I'm broken? Marco sat down his mug and turned to face the boy fully. Listen to me, Noah. You are not broken. You're healing. There's a difference. What's the difference? Broken means you can't be fixed. Healing means you're already fixing yourself. It just takes time. He paused. Your dad hurt you, hurt your mom. That's not your fault. The nightmares, the fear, that's your brain trying to process what happened, trying to make sense of it. That's not broken. That's normal. Normal? Yeah. If you weren't scared after what you went through, that would worry me more. Noah absorbed this. You really think I'll get better? I know you will. You're already braver than most adults I know. I don't feel brave. Brave isn't not being scared. Brave is being scared and doing it anyway. You were terrified last night, but you tried to protect your mom. That's brave. I didn't really protect her. Dad still hurt her. You tried. That's what matters. And you know what? You'll never have to try again because I'm going to make sure your dad never gets close to either of you. Promise. Promise. Noah finished his hot chocolate and set down the mug. Thank you for the chocolate, and for checking the locks, and for being nice to me. You don't have to thank me for being nice to you. Kid, that's just basic human decency. Dad wasn't nice. Even before the hitting, he yelled a lot, made Mom cry. Marco's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice gentle. Well, I'm not your dad. I know. Noah looked at him with those serious eyes. You're better. By the time Sloane woke up at 8, Noah was asleep on the couch, curled up under a blanket Marco had found. Marco was at the table, laptop open, researching Reed's history. Sloane saw her son sleeping peacefully and nearly cried. How long has he been out? About an hour. We talked, had hot chocolate, checked all the locks. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, I did. He closed the laptop. He needed to feel safe. I made sure he did. She sat down across from him, accepting the coffee he offered. You know who I am. Not a question. I know your name, your ex-husband's name, that you've been running for 8 months. Then you know why I can't stay. I know why you need to stay. Marco sat across from her. Detective Reed has connections, resources. If you're out there alone, he'll find you again. And if I'm here with you, that's supposed to be safer? Yes. Why would you risk that? Going against a cop? Marco's expression was unreadable. I don't like bullies, especially ones who hurt kids. You're a criminal. I am, but I have rules, and one of them is simple. You don't touch women, you don't touch children, and you sure as hell don't touch both and get to walk away like nothing happened. Sloane studied him, this dangerous man offering protection. What do you want from me? Nothing you're not willing to give. Stay here. Let me handle Reed. Let Noah heal. Let yourself heal. And then we'll see. A sound from the bedroom. Noah was awake. Sloane was up immediately, moving despite her injuries. Marco followed. Noah sat up in bed, looking around wildly. Mom! I'm here, baby. Right here. She sat beside him, pulled him close. How do you feel? My arm hurts. I know, but it's going to get better. The doctor said so. Noah's eyes found Marco in the doorway. He tensed. Marco stayed where he was. Hey, Noah. Remember me from last night? Small nod. I brought breakfast. You like pancakes? Another nod. Smaller. Good. I'll heat them up. You take your time. He left them alone. In the kitchen, he reheated the food and set the table. When they emerged, Sloane supporting Noah, both of them moving like survivors of a battlefield, he pretended not to notice how scared they looked. Sit. Eat. Then we'll figure out the next step. Noah ate mechanically, not tasting anything. Sloane picked at her food. Marco drank coffee and gave them space. How long have you been running? He asked finally. 8 months since the divorce was finalized. He has visitation rights, supervised, but... Her voice dropped. He's good at looking normal. The supervisor never saw anything wrong, and Noah was too scared to say anything. What happened yesterday? Sloane's hand tightened on her cup. He found us. I don't know how. We'd been so careful, but he was waiting outside Noah's school. He tried to take him. I stopped him. She touched her swollen face. We ran. Ended up in your neighborhood. Saw the warehouse. Thought maybe we could hide until dark. And he followed you? I think so. Hit me when I wasn't looking. Noah tried to stop him. James grabbed his arm, twisted it, said he'd break it if we didn't come with him. Marco's hands were very still on the table. What did you do? Kicked him hard. We ran. He was chasing us, but then he wasn't. Maybe he heard you coming. Maybe he just decided to wait. I don't know. She looked at Marco directly. But he'll be back. He always comes back. Not this time. You can't stop him. He's a detective. He has friends, judges, DAs, other cops. I tried reporting him once. They laughed at me, said Detective Reed would never. I'm not them. You're a criminal. Exactly. Marco's smile was cold. Which means I don't play by their rules. Reed can have all the badges and friends in the world. Won't matter. You'll get arrested or killed. Neither of those things will happen. You can't know that, Sloane. He waited until she met his eyes. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know how to handle men like your ex-husband. Men who hide behind badges and fake smiles and think they're untouchable. They're not. What are you going to do? Whatever I have to. But first, you and Noah stay here, rest, heal. Let me worry about Reed. And if I say no, then I'll respect that. Give you money, help you get somewhere safe, but you'll be running forever, and eventually he'll catch you, and next time Noah might not be so lucky. The words hung heavy. Sloane looked at her son, who'd stopped eating, listening to every word with those two old eyes. How long? She whispered. How long? What? How long do we have to hide until Reed isn't a threat anymore? And how long will that take? Marco's jaw tightened. As long as it takes. 3 days passed. Marco visited every morning, bringing food, supplies, updates. Luca stationed himself. Outside, the security detail was present but kept a low profile. Noah was gradually beginning to unwind, although he still jumped at sudden, loud sounds and wouldn't venture far from his mother's side. On the 4th day of their stay, Marco arrived to find Noah seated on the sofa, actually engaged in watching television instead of simply staring blankly at the walls. It was a small victory, but progress nonetheless. Hey kid, Marco said gently. Noah glanced up at him, not offering a smile, but also not shrinking away. Hi, he replied. How's the arm doing? Marco inquired. It hurts less, Noah responded. Good, Marco said. That means it's healing. He then held up a bag. I brought pizza. You like pizza? Yeah, Noah replied, his voice almost shy. Pepperoni? Marco continued. Is there any other kind? A barely perceptible hint of a smile flickered across Noah's face. He carefully took a slice of pizza and began to eat it slowly. Marco settled down on the other end of the couch, deliberately giving the boy plenty of space. What are you watching? Marco asked. Cartoons. Noah replied. The superhero one. Which one's your favorite? Marco inquired. Noah considered this with great seriousness. The one who can talk to animals, he finally said. That's a good one, Marco agreed. Why him? Because animals are nice, Noah replied. They don't. He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Don't what? Marco prompted gently. Don't hurt you? Noah whispered the words so softly they were almost inaudible. Marco felt a pang of sympathy in his chest. No, most of them don't, Marco reassured him. My dad hurt Mom and me, Noah said. I know, Marco replied. Are you going to hurt us, too? Noah asked, the question direct, and laced with such painful hope that Marco had to take a moment before responding. No, Noah, Marco said firmly. I'm not going to hurt you or your mom. Promise. People break promises, Noah stated, his voice tinged with sadness. Some people do, Marco conceded. But I don't. Noah studied him intently with his wise, knowing eyes. Okay, he said softly. Okay, I believe you. Then, in an even softer tone, he added, You make Mom less scared. I can tell. She sleeps now. Before, she didn't. She just watched the door all night. Marco didn't quite know how to respond to that. Well, I'm glad she's sleeping, he finally said. Me too, Noah replied. He took another bite of pizza, then added, Thank you for helping us. You're welcome, Marco replied. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching cartoons together. Sloane emerged from the bedroom, noticed them sitting together, and something shifted in her expression. That night, after Noah was sound asleep, She and Marco had a conversation in the kitchen, a real conversation, not just a series of questions and answers. "He likes you," she said. "He's a good kid," Marco replied. "He is, despite everything James did to him," Sloane said, wrapping her hands around a mug of tea. "I keep thinking I should have left sooner, before it got this bad." "You left when you could," Marco said. "That's what matters." "Is it?" Sloane asked. "Noah has nightmares. He flinches when men get too close. He's 7 years old, and he's terrified of his own father." "He's also brave," Marco countered. "He tried to protect you even when he was scared. That takes real courage." "He shouldn't have had to," Sloane said, her voice filled with pain. "No, he shouldn't have," Marco agreed. He leaned back in his chair. "But he did. And he survived. You both did. That says something." Sloane looked at him, really looked at him. "Why do you care about us?" she asked. "You don't even know us." "I know enough," Marco replied. "That's not an answer," Sloane pressed. Marco was silent for a long moment. "My father was killed when I was 10, he finally said. "Shot by a rival family. He bled out on the sidewalk while I watched. I remember thinking, who's going to keep us safe now? Who's going to make sure the bad things don't come back?" He met her eyes. "My uncle stepped up, took us in, kept us safe, taught me everything I know. He didn't have to. He could have left us to figure it out ourselves, but he didn't." "And now you're doing the same for us," Sloane said softly. "Yeah, I am," Marco replied. "Even though it's dangerous. Even though Reed is a cop, especially because he's a cop. Men like that think they're untouchable. They need to learn they're not." Sloane's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so tired of being scared," she whispered. "Then stop being scared," Marco said firmly. "Let me handle it." "What are you going to do?" Sloane asked. "What I do best," Marco replied. "Make problems disappear." "I don't want you to kill him," Sloane said urgently. Marco's expression didn't change. "I wasn't planning to," he said. "Dead men can't suffer. And I want Reed to suffer for what he did to you and Noah." "That's almost worse," Sloane said, a shiver running down her spine. "Maybe," Marco conceded. "But it's honest." He stood up. "Get some rest. I'll be back tomorrow." "Marco," Sloane said, stopping him. "Why does this feel different? You protecting us, it should feel wrong. You're exactly the kind of man I should stay away from. But it doesn't feel wrong. Feels safe." Marco finished. "Yeah, safe. Because it is for you. For Noah." He touched her shoulder briefly. "Both of you are mine now. I protect what's mine." That became his refrain. "Both of you are mine now." He said it when he brought groceries, when he checked the locks, and when Noah fell asleep on the couch and Marco carried him to bed without being asked. 2 weeks after taking them in, Marco's uncle, Don Carlo Santoro, demanded a meeting. "What's this I hear about a woman and child?" the old man asked, sitting behind his massive desk, cigar smoke curling around him. "They needed help," Marco replied. "And you gave it?" Don Carlo asked. "Yes," Marco replied. "Why?" Don Carlo asked. "Because it was the right thing to do," Marco replied. Don Carlo studied his nephew intently. "Her ex-husband is a cop," he said. "I know," Marco replied. "You're starting a war you don't need," Don Carlo warned. "I'm protecting 2 people who can't protect themselves," Marco said. "That's not our business," Don Carlo stated. "It's my business," Marco replied, his voice respectful but firm. "And I'm handling it." The old man sighed. "You're thinking with your heart, not your head," he said. "Maybe," Marco conceded. "But my heart is telling me this matters." "The woman, you care for her," Don Carlo observed. "I barely know her," Marco replied. "That's not what I asked," Don Carlo said. Marco was silent. "And the boy?" Don Carlo continued. "He's 7, scared, hurt. Reminds me of myself at that age." Understanding dawned in the old man's eyes. "You see yourself in him," he said. "I see what I could have been if you hadn't stepped in," Marco replied. "So you step in for him." Yes, Marco said. Don Carlo was quiet for a long moment. Then handle it carefully, he finally said. Reed has friends. Make sure when he falls it looks natural. I will, Marco replied. And Marco, Don Carlo continued, if you're going to claim them, both of them, be sure. Don't let them go halfway. That's cruel. I'm sure, Marco replied. Then bring them to Sunday dinner, Don Carlo said. Let Nona Teresa meet them. If you're making them family, let the family decide. And so, 3 weeks after finding them bleeding behind his warehouse, Marco found himself driving Sloane and Noah to his grandmother's house in Carroll Gardens. Are you sure this is a good idea? Sloane asked nervously. Nona insisted, Marco replied. What if they don't like us? Sloane asked anxiously. They will, Marco assured her. How do you know? Sloane asked. Because I like you, Marco said. That's enough for Nona. Noah was quiet in the back seat, looking out the window. He'd started speaking more, laughing occasionally. Still nightmares, still fear, but he was healing. Marco could see it happening in real time. The brownstone was exactly what Sloane expected. Old, well-maintained, and alive with the sounds of family. They could already hear voices from the street. How many people? Sloane asked faintly. 15? 20? Marco replied. Hard to say. People drop by. Marco squeezed her hand. You'll be fine. Promise. He wasn't wrong. Nona Teresa took one look at Noah and immediately claimed him, talking to him in rapid Italian, even though he didn't understand a word, pulling him into the kitchen, showing him how to make pasta. Gia, Marco's sister, took Sloane under her wing. Don't worry, Nona adopts everyone, Gia said. You're family now. We're not. Sloane protested. Marco brought you here, Gia said firmly. That makes you family. End of discussion. Dinner was chaos. Beautiful chaos. Noah ended up sitting between Nona and Marco, actually laughing at something Gia's daughter said. Sloane watched her son, her traumatized, scared son, being a child again. She caught Marco's eyes across the table and mouthed, "Thank you." He simply nodded. After dinner, while Noah played with the other children in the living room, actually playing, not just sitting silently, Marco found Sloane on the back porch. "He's happy," she said quietly. "Yeah," Marco replied. "I forgot what that looked like." "You'll see it more," Sloane said. "I promise." She turned to face him. "Marco, what are we doing? This?" She gestured between them. "Whatever this is. What happens when Reed is dealt with? When we don't need protection anymore? Is that what you want? To leave when it's over?" "I don't know what I want," Sloane said. 2 months ago, I was running for my life. Now I'm at a family dinner with a man who... She stopped. "Who?" Marco prompted gently. "Who what? Who makes me feel things I shouldn't feel," Sloane said, her voice barely a whisper. Marco stepped closer. "Like?" he asked. "Like maybe I could stop running," Sloane said. "Like maybe there's a place where Noah and I could actually be safe. Like maybe..." She looked up at him, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and fear. "Like maybe we could be happy." "You could be happy," Marco said. "Safe. Both of you with me if you want." "I barely know you," Sloane protested. "Then get to know me," Marco replied. "You're a criminal," Sloane said. "I am," Marco replied. "You hurt people," Sloane continued. "I do," Marco admitted. "You live a dangerous life," Sloane said. "That's true," Marco replied. "So why do I want to stay?" Sloane asked, her voice full of confusion. Marco touched her face gently, mindful of the fading bruises. "Because you know I'd never hurt you, either of you," he said softly. "Because when you look at me, you don't see a criminal. You see someone who will stand between you and everything that wants to hurt you. Is that what you are for you?" Sloane asked. "For Noah?" "Yeah," Marco replied. "That's exactly what I am." She kissed him, surprising both of them. A quick, impulsive kiss, and she broke away immediately. "I'm sorry," she said. "I shouldn't have." He pulled her back, kissing her properly, slow, careful, like she was something precious that might break. When they separated, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. "Don't apologize," he murmured. "Not for that. This is crazy," Sloane said. "Completely. I'm falling for you," Marco confessed. "Good," Sloane replied. "Because I'm already gone." Inside, Nona Teresa watched through the window, smiling. She'd known. The moment Marco walked in with them, she'd known her grandson had finally found something worth protecting beyond the family business. Something worth living for. 1 month after finding them, Marco got the call he'd been waiting for. Reed had made a mistake, a small one, but enough. He'd been caught taking money from evidence. An ambitious young prosecutor was building a case. Marco had helped that along, of course, with anonymous tips, planted evidence, and witnesses who suddenly remembered seeing things. He played dirty because Reed had played dirty first. When the arrest came, Marco was there in the crowd, watching Reed being led out in handcuffs. The detective saw him, knew immediately who was responsible. "This isn't over," Reed mouthed. Marco's smile was cold. "Yes, it is," he replied. He went straight to the safe house. Sloane opened the door, saw his expression. "It's done," Marco said. "He's been arrested. They found evidence of corruption, witness tampering, assault charges from 3 different complaints that were mysteriously buried. He's going away for a long time." Sloane's knees gave out. Marco caught her, held her while she cried. A torrent of relief, fear, anger, everything she'd been holding in for months pouring out. Noah appeared in the doorway. "Mom, she's okay," Marco said quietly. Happy tears. "Is Dad gone?" Noah asked. Marco looked at the boy, this brave, scared, healing child. "Yeah, kid," he said. "He's gone. He can't hurt you anymore." Noah processed this, then launched himself at Marco, hugging him tight. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." Marco held him, this child who wasn't his, but was becoming his in all the ways that mattered. "You're welcome, Noah," he said softly. "Can we stay with you, please?" Noah asked. "If your mom wants to," Marco replied. Noah turned to Sloane. "Mom, please," he begged. "Can we stay? I like it here. I like Marco. I like Nona and Gia." He was crying now. "Please, I don't want to run anymore." Sloane looked at Marco over her son's head. This dangerous man who'd saved them, protected them, made them feel safe for the first time in years. "Yeah," she whispered. "We can stay." 6 months later, Sloane and Noah moved out of the safe house and into Marco's brownstone. 3 bedrooms, a big kitchen, a backyard where Noah could play. It was normal except for the armed guards who checked the perimeter twice a day. Noah thrived. He started therapy, started school, started being a kid again. He still had nightmares, but they were getting less frequent. He still flinched sometimes, but Marco learned his tells, learned how to make him feel safe without making him feel babied. One night, Marco was working in his study when Noah appeared in the doorway. It was past midnight, the kid should have been asleep. "Hey, buddy," Marco said. "Bad dream?" "No," Noah replied. He shifted awkwardly. "I couldn't sleep. Can I stay in here just for a bit?" "Sure," Marco replied. "Come on in." Noah climbed into the chair across from Marco's desk, curled up, and watched him work for a while in silence. "Marco," Noah said softly. "Yeah." Marco replied. "Why do you do this?" Noah asked. The Mafia stuff?" It was an honest question, and it deserved an honest answer. "It's the family business," Marco replied. "What I was born into. What I know. But it's bad, right?" Noah asked. "What you do?" "Some of it." "Yeah," Marco admitted. "Does that make you bad?" Noah asked. Marco set down his pen. I think people are complicated," he said. "I do bad things sometimes, but I try to follow rules. Try to protect people who need protecting. Try to be better than the people who came before me. Like how you protected us." Noah asked. "Yeah," Marco replied. "Like that." Noah thought about this. "My dad was supposed to be good," he said. He was a cop, but he was bad. Really bad. Some people hide who they really are, Marco said. But you don't hide. You just are, I guess. So I like that, Noah replied. That you don't pretend. Marco's throat tightened. Thanks, kid, he said softly. Marco, can I ask you something? Noah asked. Anything, Marco replied. Are you going to stay with us forever? Noah asked. Planning on it, Marco replied. Why? Noah's voice got very small. Because I love you, and I don't want you to leave. Marco crossed the room, crouched in front of the chair. Noah, listen to me, he said, taking the boy's hands. I'm not going anywhere. I love you too. You and your mom. You're mine. My family. You understand? Really? Noah asked, his eyes wide with hope. Really? Marco replied. Even though I'm not yours, Noah said. Like not really. You are really, Marco insisted. Blood doesn't make family. Choice does. And I choose you. Noah launched himself at Marco, hugging him tight. I choose you too, he whispered. They stayed like that for a long time. When Noah finally pulled back, his eyes were bright with tears. Can I call you something? He asked. Like what? Marco asked gently. Like? Noah took a breath. Can I call you Dad? Marco froze. He hadn't expected that. He didn't know what to say. You don't have to, Noah said quickly. I know you're not really my dad. I'd be honored. Marco interrupted, his voice rough with emotion. I'd be so honored, Noah. Yeah? Noah asked, his face lighting up. Yeah, Marco replied. He pulled the boy back into a hug. You can call me whatever you want, son. Son. The word felt right, perfect, like it had always been waiting to be said. I love you, Dad. Noah whispered. Marco's chest hurt in the best way. I love you too, he replied. They told Sloane the next morning. She cried. Happy tears this time. Marco made sure to specify when Noah looked worried. You sure? She asked Marco later when Noah was at school. About him calling me Dad? Absolutely, Marco replied. It's a big responsibility. I know I'll screw it up sometimes, but I'll do my best. Promise. You already are, Sloane said. She kissed him. He's so lucky to have you. I'm the lucky one, Marco replied. We both are. 8 months after finding them, Marco knew what he wanted. The ring was already bought, hidden in his office safe. But there was something he needed to do first. He found Noah in the backyard kicking a soccer ball against the fence. The boy's arm had healed completely, though he still favored it sometimes when he was tired. Hey buddy, Marco said. Got a minute? Noah caught the ball, tucked it under his arm. Sure, what's up? He asked. I need to talk to you about something, Marco replied. Serious talk. Noah's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of worry crossing his face. Did I do something wrong? He asked. No, nothing like that, Marco assured him. He sat on the back steps, patted the spot beside him. Come here. Noah sat down, and Marco noticed how much he'd grown in 8 months. Taller, healthier, more color in his cheeks. He still got nightmares sometimes. He still had bad days, but he was healing, really healing. You know I love your mom, right? Marco asked. Noah nodded. Yeah, he said. And she loves you too, Marco continued. I can tell. Good, Noah replied. That's good. Marco took a breath. This was harder than he'd expected. I want to ask her to marry me, he said. Noah's eyes went wide. Really? He asked. Really? But here's the thing, Marco continued. I'm not just asking to marry your mom. I'm asking to be part of your family officially forever. He looked at the boy seriously. And I won't do that unless you're okay with it. You're asking me? Noah asked, his voice full of surprise. Yeah, I am, Marco replied. Because this isn't just about me and your mom. It's about all 3 of us. If we do this, we're a family, real family. And I need to know you're okay with that. Noah was quiet for a long moment, processing what Marco had said. What if I said no? he asked. Then I wouldn't ask her, Marco replied. I'd wait. Or I wouldn't ask at all if that's what you needed. You'd really do that even though you love her? Noah asked. Yeah, Marco replied. I would because I love you too, both of you, and I won't do anything that makes you uncomfortable or scared. Noah kicked at the grass with his shoe. My real dad, he never asked me about anything, he said. He just did stuff, made decisions, didn't care what I thought. I'm not him, Marco said softly. I know, Noah replied. His eyes brightened. That's why I want you to marry Mom. Because you're not like him. You're good. You make Mom happy. You make me feel safe. Marco's throat tightened. Yeah, he said, his voice choked with emotion. Yeah. Noah smiled, a real smile, the kind that reached his eyes. You should totally ask her, he said. She'll say yes. You think so? Marco asked. I know so, Noah replied. She looks at you the way she used to look at me when I was little, like you're the best thing ever. Marco laughed, pulled Noah into a hug. Thanks, kid, he said. That means everything. Can I be there when you ask? Noah asked. Actually, I was hoping you'd help me, Marco replied. Got any ideas on how to make it special? Noah's face lit up. Oh, I have so many ideas, he said. They spent the next hour planning. Noah's enthusiasm was infectious, his suggestions ranging from the practical to the completely absurd. By the end, they had a plan. Simple, perfect, and uniquely theirs. Marco, Noah said as they headed inside. When you marry Mom, does that make you my dad? Like officially? If you wanted to, Marco replied. I already call you Dad. I know, and I love that, Noah said. But marriage makes it, I don't know, more official, I guess. Noah thought about this. Good, he said. I want it to be official. I want everyone to know you're my dad, even though we don't have the same blood. Blood doesn't matter, Marco replied. You chose me. That's better. Marco stopped, crouched down to Noah's level. You're right, he said. Choice is better. And I choose you, Noah, every single day. I choose you too, Dad, Noah said. They hugged there in the doorway, father and son, not by blood, but by something stronger, by choice, by love, by the family they'd built from broken pieces. 8 months after finding them, Marco proposed. Not elaborate, not public, just the three of them in the kitchen after dinner. Noah's drawing on the table, dishes still in the sink. He got down on one knee, a ring box in his hand. A simple gold band with a small diamond, nothing ostentatious. Sloane Carter, he said, his voice thick with emotion. You crashed into my life bleeding and scared and protecting your son like a lioness. You made me want to be better than I am, made me believe I could be something other than what I was born to be. He opened the box. Will you marry me? Let me be the man who stands beside you, who raises Noah with you, who keeps you both safe and happy for as long as I'm breathing. Sloane was crying, tears streaming down her face. Yes, God, she sobbed. Yes. He slipped the ring on her finger, kissed her while Noah cheered. Does this mean we're really a family now? Noah asked. We've been a family, Marco replied. This just makes it official. Good, Noah said, hugging them both. Because I didn't want to lose you, either of you. Never going to happen, Marco promised. We're stuck together now. Good, Noah repeated, grinning. That's really good. The wedding was small, just family. Noah was the ring bearer, and he took the job seriously, walking down the aisle with such concentration that everyone smiled. When the priest said, "You may kiss the bride," Marco kissed Sloane while their son, cheered louder than anyone. At the reception, Nona Teresa pulled Marco aside. "You did good, Nepet," she said. "You found what matters." "I didn't find them," Marco replied. "They found me." "Same thing," Nona Teresa said, patting his cheek. "Your father would be proud. You protect the ones who need it like he did, like I always hoped you would." "I'm just doing what's right," Marco replied. "That's all any of us can do," Nona Teresa said. She smiled. Now go dance with your wife and later dance with your son. Both of them need to know they're loved. Marco danced with Sloane first, swaying slowly, her head on his chest. Happy, he murmured. So happy I'm afraid I'll wake up. It's real, Sloane said. I know, Marco replied. That's what scares me. Don't be scared, Sloane said. Not anymore. I've got you, both of you. I know, Marco said. I trust you. Good, Sloane replied. Because I'm not going anywhere. Later he danced with Noah. The boy stood on his feet like kids do at weddings, laughing as Marco spun them around. This is the best day ever, Noah declared. Yeah, Marco agreed. Yeah. Because we're really a family now, Noah said. Really real. We've always been real, Marco said. I know, Noah said. But now it's official. You're my dad. Mom's your wife. We're the Santoros. Actually, your mom is keeping Carter, Marco said. And you can too if you want. Noah considered this seriously. Can I be Noah Carter Santoro? He asked. If you want, I want, Marco replied. That way I have Mom's name and your name, both of you, Noah explained. Marco's eyes burned with emotion. That sounds perfect, he said. I love you, Dad, Noah said. I love you too, son, Marco replied. They spun around the dance floor, this man and boy who'd found each other in the worst way and built something beautiful. Anyway, that night after Noah was asleep, Marco and Sloane stood on their bedroom balcony looking out at the city. You know what's funny? Sloane said. What? Marco asked. 2 months ago, I thought my life was over, Sloane said. Thought Noah and I would run forever. Thought we'd never be safe. And now I'm married to a mafia boss living in Brooklyn and happier than I've ever been. It's insane. Completely. Marco pulled her closer. But it's ours, he said. Yeah, it is, Sloane agreed. She looked up at him. Thank you for finding us, for protecting us, for loving us. Thank you for staying, for giving me a chance, for letting me be Noah's dad. You earned that every day, Marco said. You earn it. I'll keep earning it every day for the rest of my life. I know you will, Sloane said. They stood there wrapped in each other's arms, the city alive below them. 2 people who shouldn't have worked but did. 3 people counting Noah who'd built a family from broken pieces. Inside, Noah slept peacefully. No nightmares, no fear. Just a child sleeping safely in his own bed, knowing both his parents were nearby, safe, loved, home. And in the morning, Marco would make pancakes, Noah would spill syrup everywhere, and Sloane would laugh. They'd be a family doing family things, and it would be perfect in its imperfection. Both of you are mine now, Marco had said that first night. He'd meant it then, and he meant it even more now, forever.